Live. Hello, everyone. Um,
Hello. I guess I'll say hello.
I guess that wasn't
Third
directed
person,
at anyone. Yes, Colin
but we have
can.
guests today.
We do have guests today. Before we have those guests introduce themselves, we can put some visuals to the voices. So we got the Chicago boys, top four.
Yeah.
The first two is myself and Colin, and then next
Yes, indeed.
is our prince.
Yeah, it's me. John Urbanek, Big Herbs on Discord, and I guess those are the two to know.
You don't want to give us like your social or credit card information?
It ends in a 7.
Ooh,
Oh,
I can work with that. And then rounding out, we have Luke.
That's me. I am Luke. I go a lot on forums and such as Tendokashi.
Awesome. So yeah, this was what was this 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
Week and a half, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go over first. We're gonna go over the deck list a little bit. So I have this pulled up, and this is the winning list by John. Now, John, why don't you go over like the process and like your mindset of how you came across, like built this deck?
Yeah, so early on, I knew that I wanted to play Gangrels. I'd been playing a lot of Toreador in the beginning with just like the core set, and really like schemes, but didn't really think it was going to be like the competitive deck that it needed to be to bring to a Prince event. And the first Gangrel deck I made was absolute trash, and I was very disappointed with it. So, like any good player, I then just decided to have Collin build it for me, and then make I think the whopping one, maybe two tweaks. I think him and I discussed after he showed me the deck, and played it once the night beforehand, and then brought it to the event.
Mm-hmm.
So we seem to have first off, I was wondering how long it was going to go before you just said Colin made my deck. So
I mean, there's no way I was going to say it immediately. I had to stream on it a little bit just to see how red his face would get.
I was impressed.
So we have a bit of a theme going with some of the Prince titles. Is that the eventual Prince winners picked up their deck the night before? Because that was what happened. I believe that is what Prince Josh from Gen Con last year also happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we tried. The three of us. We tried two other Gangrel decks prior to picking this one. So I guess it wasn't. There was at least some like decision making that occurred. It wasn't simply like slap it together, walk out the door.
Yeah, unlike some people we know.
So it just basically it did come down to just kind of like figuring things out. Like I this looked at Hunt of Hunters, which was fun, but just didn't seem consistent enough. Same thing. We looked at Roost for a while, and that was a lot of fun, but just wasn't. It didn't feel like quite strong enough to like get over that hump. And then we just looked at like just get points with animals, just slap animals on your character, run all the animals, and that'll probably be pretty good, right? And it turned out to be pretty good.
And it turns out you didn't even need those animals to win. So we'll get to that in a minute.
There were other rounds. Those animals did come in clutch.
All right. Next up, we have Luke's deck. Why don't you take us through it?
Well, when I first started playing Vampire, I wanted to play Malkavians. Not only because they were my OG faction back when I was introduced to the Vampire Masquerade universe, but also the theme behind them sounded neat. Mainly because, hey, they're different. They're kind of underdoggy, so that immediately drives my interest to them. Unfortunately, a lot of the games I played back then went into the card game was a lot of 1v1s, and conspiracies don't really work in a 1v1 environment. So, fast forward through quarantine times, and now that we're getting back together, we're realizing that this game is more multiplayer focused. I put this back together after my hiatus from bit to kind of swing back to it. Also from some help from another colleague of mine, AJ, who had also been playing Malkavians, and wanted to give them another go in a multiplayer environment.
Now, do you feel like the conspiracies were able to keep up with the other decks at your respective tables?
For the most part, it is the main focus on the deck is more of like a prestige drain, not so much of a win by agenda because I'm triggering all the conspiracies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, although I remember you did get up to like, I mean, I remember one time we were sitting there and we were up at like 7 or 8 agenda. It definitely feels like a deck that, as the game goes longer, you know, it gets
Like,
better.
if I can successfully stall the game out, then yes, I can absolutely threaten agenda numbers if I haven't prestige drained
Go
my
away.
opponent by then.
I'll be there in a minute.
Theoretically, mind you. Sometimes you can do everything that says this game should be stalled, but then
We will also get to that.
No foreshadowing at all there.
All right, and then this was mine and Colin's list. The only difference between us was I have an actual physical copy of Freddy, and he doesn't. So that just Freddy just became Sweetums because it's just another 3-drop with celerity. And we talked about
this deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna go into it. We talked about it on the latest episode, so that's how I get you to go listen to that. And yeah.
Brand synergy.
All right, let me switch this over to the actual YouTube stream. Give me one moment. Technology. Boom, there's that. All right, you guys still see it on your end?
Yep.
Cool.
So has anyone been watching this since that day? Anyone?
I have not.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, yes.
Okay, I was curious.
So right now we're starting off. I have it pretty much started right before we picked first player, so we're pretty much all shuffled up. For those who are not going to be watching this on the Twitch stream, because I'm also going to make this into a audio only like commentary track you can just watch along with, we are starting at timestamp 4 hours 54 minutes 56 seconds. And I believe I was first player, so I think we'll pull out the leaders and then the city deck draws, and then we can talk about our thoughts from there.
Yeah. So real quick, just to set the stage, right? Obviously, Alex and I know we're playing the same deck, so we know there's going to be a bid. And I mean, we had talked about that beforehand, so I think we both had a little bit of an idea of what the plan was. But
yeah, we knew we were going to have backup leaders. We never actually talked about like how our bids were going to work. So yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
No, we just talked about kind of who we would use as a backup
leader. Yeah. All right, here.
I remember too. This, we did randomized the seating like you're supposed to in the event.
Correct.
And I remember Collin was particularly excited because I'd been in the player 2 seat the last 2 rounds and won them both. So it was like, oh, good, he's moved. This is the chance. This was my
chance.
The opportunity to overthrow.
Yes.
But then he put his.
Did I end up opposite you or like going after you both or like both times?
You might have. Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think I was going after you the game that we had together. So everyone was going after John. So yeah, we randomized seats, and then Collin put his mat upside down.
And that's where it all started going wrong.
All right, here we go. If you guys don't hear the audio, let me know, because this is definitely not the first time we're trying to do this.
There we go. That's audio.
My joy over being first player.
I mean, I don't know.
Which actually, I think turned out to be a good thing, but.
Also, is that the only one just crazy enough to start with this agenda phase?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, because we all know each other, we all knew what was flipping up, right?
Yeah.
but I just put it face down because it's trying to get in the habit of it. You know, for when I'm sitting at a table and no one knows what I'm doing yet. Though I guess if you see Tamaska and you probably can put it together pretty quick. But still,
I clearly did not care that I was on stream.
but that's great. I we've all played a lot of card games, right? And there's something fun about like a top table or final tables or whatever, all with people that you like know and can just like joke around like this and have a good time and not be like freaked out or worried about, oh god, what am I gonna do? Like I don't know, I love stuff like this.
All right, I'm gonna pause it real quick. I'm pausing it at 4:56:20. So we, if you missed it, we bid and already passed already. So I was first in the bid order. We both flipped Hydra, and I figured, okay, I bid 1. I'm probably gonna get it. Now, is there any situation where you would ever go, or if I bid 0, because you can do that, you don't have to bid anything. You just say I bid 0. Would you have also paid 1 for Hydra?
Yeah, I think I would have. So what was going through my head after you bid 1, essentially, so obviously we don't know who our rivals are yet, right?
Right.
So I mean, obviously I know your deck, and I know that it's gonna be hard for me to knock out Hydra unless I get the right cards. I know Luke is going to drain Prestige, and so that was the biggest reason I didn't want to bid 2, because if, as I think it turned out, or no, I guess we were going clockwise, but if Luke, yeah, but if Luke was hunting me, like, because we had that in, I think, the previous game, then it's like, I mean, I know it's only 1 extra Prestige, but again, well, it's losing that 1 extra Prestige and starting with the 6-cost leader, and suddenly, it can be a little scary. So that was the biggest reason why I didn't want to go up to 2. I'm pretty sure I would have said 1. I'm almost positive I would have said 1, just because Hydra is so nice to have. But we had, and this is where, so I picked Beretta as my backup leader, right? Because we had Cossack and we had Beretta, and I opted for Beretta because of the 2 mental, because I know that, again, I know Alex's deck has a lot of physical in it, and I know John's deck has a lot of, maybe not a lot of physical exactly, but a lot of physical protection, between Tamaska, Mongrel, and the alley cats, or not alley cats, Swarm.
And back up to
and stuff. Yeah, and back up, right? So, like, mental is, like, how I would want to attack 2 of those decks, and then, obviously, not necessarily how I'd want to attack Malkavian, but, again, playing the odds there, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I bid 1 because I figured you probably weren't going to bid 2. If I bid 0, I would probably lose him, and I didn't really want to lose him. So yeah, I feel like that was probably the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, there's also something to be said for just, like, not having to think on your feet, right? Like, we've played the deck with Hydra so much, it's nice to just playing it like the way you know how to play it.
Yep, for sure. All right, starting it back up on Mark.
Please don't be my rival.
All right, so now we're gonna do rivals.
I actually don't know. I think 1 is a fair price.
As we just repeat ourselves.
We're talking
It's
about
another
We're consistent.
2
I mean, that's why I got really lucky actually last game, because we were playing cross table, and so he was hunting me, but I drew Smoke and Skunk, and so I was like, okay, I played them both. I don't need see, there's me talking through exactly what I just said about being scared of being hunted by.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, $1 doesn't feel that bad. 2 feels like it hurts,
Right?
Especially, like I said, you know what one of the decks is going to do, because at that point, it's it's almost like I said, it's like losing 3, a 6 coster and 2 on top of that. It's like
Yes.
Picking our events.
14, 16. We gotta pick rivals. Yes.
Actually, I'm gonna pause it again real quick. So I'm pausing at 4:57:35. What are the events you guys are hoping comes out of the deck?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
That is a good question.
Funny enough, the events that I would personally would have wanted out of the deck, I'm pretty sure get flipped.
Immediately.
It'd be Alcatraz and what is it?
Gallery opening?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want people to have prestige.
I was gonna say,
I don't want Governor all by his lonesome.
yeah, those are the two exact events I definitely want in the deck. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Sometimes with Hydra specifically, the one that is a protest that makes you pay a blood for attacking a mortal. Sometimes that can hurt pretty bad because then you're paying, if you want to use Hydra's ability, you're using 2 blood, so that's not fun.
Yeah. It was like it was basically depending on what other decks I saw at the table, but generally speaking, I think Protest and the Hunger are the two that I don't really like seeing.
Right. Yeah.
The Hunger can be fine, but like a lot of times you don't like spending cards to heal.
Right.
Right. And Hydra, you're paying blood off, so that's again it's not always bad, but just like generally speaking, it's not always the best either.
And you can't always get the dream of having a Vagrant to munch on for agenda and healing. So
exactly.
Yeah, those are the two that I would have said also. Like I don't mind too much being alone in the streets. I mean, Tabasco is going to just be a brick wall in the first place. Like there's no range tax in the deck, so that doesn't bother me in the least. The money isn't really a big deal one way or the other for me. So it's basically anything that's going to take cards from my hand, and mending the damage from a protest or having to heal up before Hunger goes. Those are the two.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it too, Bart Tunnels is actually not very good for our deck, which is interesting because like you think it makes people vulnerable, but also our deck has a lot of you know, I mean I say a lot of party abilities, but like it wants those throw rips, it wants those lightning strikes, and so it makes it harder to pull those off. So
yeah, that had happened to me, I think, my second game. So yeah, that's something I wouldn't have wanted to see. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Starting it back up on Mark.
So I can get a turn 1/3 on the turn again. Hello, friend.
Did not get that turn 1/3 animal.
Did you need it though?
I feel so
All right, so at this point, we figure out we're going just clockwise Wheel of Death.
Oh yeah, that's why I did the super cut for John.
Oh, you're one for me? Time to play all the duplicates before
Sorry,
you
I
can.
don't want
Do I recruit?
You're
Do
not,
I recruit
I'm not
two
super
on
stoked
turn
about you
one?
going for me either, but slightly.
I feel like that's a legit thing.
Maybe.
I still feel like that's what you should have done.
I mean, you know.
We'll get to that.
In
Uh-oh.
retrospect.
Something happened.
All right.
Oh, I think that's
Okay, there we go.
That's
Ooh.
yeah.
No, yeah, I know. Just saying, like, I never actually watched this, so I don't know if the stream was actually good or not.
Yeah, because we did talk about recruiting twice, but it's just losing. It's like with Pit, you're losing an extra action, right? It feels
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the move you're gonna make. You know, this is a rare circumstance, right?
Yeah, yeah. This isn't something to plan around. So, city deck, we have Sad, Chef, Addict, and a Tour Guide. Nothing spectacularly crazy. Although the Sad coming out pretty early was not good for Collin.
A couple of these things are not good for me.
I'm pretty sure everything is not good.
Alright, I'm about to find out if my game's gonna be.
And then you should have spent 1 prestige, right? For
Oh yes, yeah, you're right.
I kind of on the same question you had before, Alex. Like the opposite end of it. You know, what events you want to see get pulled. Like in a perfect world, what's the flop that you want to see with your guys' deck?
It's a good question.
We'll see.
Because there's a lot of buildup that the deck kind of wants to see. So, like, I'm fine with any of the, like, non-stat giving citizens out because that or Vagrants, because especially the athlete. Like, I didn't see one athlete all day, which was sad.
Right. yeah, I mean, definitely if you're like if you're up, you want to see
I know you're not gonna
a stat
hit him
boost,
anyway,
but
so.
Right.
aside from that, yeah, like
Alright, I gain an
you
action.
don't really want to see a vagrant because you're probably not going to be punching somebody turn one, and it's turn one's an easy time to just go grab a vagrant.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't necessarily want to see that. Other than that,
I know it's overrated.
I guess the other one I don't actually want to see early is meeting at Alcatraz.
Right.
Because I like that when that comes up later and lets me punch somebody's leader.
Right. You can't capitalize it when it comes out early.
So I mean, yeah, just generic. I guess basically generic citizens is probably the best thing, and then maybe I mean a sad's not terrible usually, but I don't think there's a particular flop we're looking for. I don't know if either of y'all had an event you do stuff you do want to see on the opening.
I mean, kind of like you already said, just a stat boost, of course, for Tamaska is any one of them's great because it just means that's your new focus.
Yeah.
You're sitting one across the board, you can't really go wrong. And being that every one of our games that whole day went long, like vagrants seemed like they were worth their weight in gold because no one was killing vagrants, and
Right.
anything to just soak damage, I was like, I would have happily taken.
All those vagrants all day, and no one was playing Invisible Army. So yeah, my turn was just recruit, grab a early agenda with a Hydra attack with intimidation, drawing a card, and there's the Alcatraz.
You killed the sad, right?
Right. I think John drew the second one, or maybe you did. I don't know.
I think
No, I think I did.
I think Collin did.
Yeah.
Because I draw the art gallery.
Grandpa. Come back to the
Never let Governor go by himself.
Come back, old
crazy
man.
man thinks he is a
So I feel like I
vampire.
have the shortest turns out of most of the game, or most of the game. But it seems like it's the most impactful, quote unquote.
Yes.
All right.
My
Oh,
opening
yeah, that-
hand was a takedown.
All right. Let's let this horrible nonsense happen before I pause it again.
So bad.
Oh yeah.
My
I mean,
heart,
it's funny, too,
my heart
this
dropped.
was- You were literally his only target for shakedown. I realized.
All right, pausing at 5:02:35.
So Shakedown is a fair and balanced card.
Wow, it didn't stop John from winning. So this shakedown, I forgot what the rest of my hand was. I think there was a coup in there.
It was a coup de grace, it was a Beretta, and I forget what the other card was.
Oh, you're the vampire with Beretta. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Hydra,
About
so.
it later, but I'm like, hey, don't lose your Beretta.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you did tell him that.
There was part of me that thought that was a mind game. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I know the last card wasn't an attack because, God forbid, I was expecting to maybe slow you down by getting 2 attacks out of your hand. I wasn't expecting 4. Nobody at the table was expecting 4.
Yeah, and they were a good 4. It was a throat rip, a sucker punch. Trying to remember the other two.
Wasn't it?
I think, yeah, maybe. I thought something might have been doubled up.
I'm pretty sure it was 4. I think sucker punch, throat rip, feral fangs, and lightning strike. I think it was one of all 4.
Oh god, that's so bad. So obviously, I'm hunting you. So that's the clear play to make. There's no reason not to do that.
I mean, especially because I don't remember much about my other opening hand because I was too distracted by the 2 shakedowns. And my thought process was, I know you had played an attack on your turn, so I'm like, well, hopefully I'll be able to, again, get at least 2 out of your hand. Even if you have a variety of different attacks, I can at least hopefully get some physicals or ranged out or something, because I see Bruja, I expect they're just running all of the attacks and they're just going to ram them down my throat. So again,
Not wrong.
one, not having conspiracies and having shakedowns. I mean, my turn 1 was priority was slow down the guy who's going to try and kill me, and much to my surprise, was deleting most of your hand in the process.
Yeah, that was probably the best draw I had all day. So thanks for that. All right, starting again on my mark. Oh, we could have just waited. We could have just waited.
Told you it was one of everything. I remember that.
Okay. Man, if I was sheriff with that one guy, swimming in money.
Yeah, one day someone's gonna actually pull it off of the show.
Yep. Someday.
I have no meaning. No.
I mean, actually, I should have said about that. He's my
Sad. Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you talking about? We're going clockwise.
I mean, what? No, just kidding.
Top table all the way.
We know what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, I do.
So again, the second event I just mentioned, like, oh boy, I don't want this card to exist. Oh hey, look, it did.
Yep. Feels bad. And this is where I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna pitch Hydra or not.
Yeah, normally I'm at least pitching one for this, but with us having the mirror at the tail and me getting just shook down for 4, I'm like, nope. Although, now that I say that, did I pitch Beretta? Or did I save her for
Nope,
mending?
You saved her.
Yeah.
And I pitched Lolita because I had drawn into Velvet, who I planned on playing on my next turn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just because it was like if I had the mental attacks, I might have tried to be, be all cool and knock Hydra out, and then play him. But I don't think I drew like any mental, and so I was like, well. John takes tour guide.
Yep.
Something I should have paid more attention to.
At least I'm not hunting. At least I'm not hunting. Oh god.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
But I mean, more than that, just the idea that you have a stat boost.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And
And so I should have been more concerned about being eliminated, I think.
And then John just played Drea, so he's already got the Wonder Duo going.
Yep. Dre came out. I think, if I remember correctly, that attack at the tour guide drew me, revealing for my Haven. I think I actually revealed a Mongrel too. And I'm pretty sure played Dre slapped the Mongrel on me. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because then I attack. I'm pretty sure I don't remember if I hit the ship or the attic. I hit one of them because I didn't need to play a card at that point because it was 3 points.
Yeah.
And I think whichever one had the card draw, that's basically the one that I went with. That's all I cared about was.
Yeah.
Well, you did.
And that's why,
Dreams
like,
oh no. Dreams come true.
I should have been paying more attention to John. I was definitely more focused on, like, how can I hunt Alex? And not so much focused on how do I stay alive. So.
Yeah, saw that red.
You probably also saw red because you're like, oh man, my rival suddenly doesn't have cards. Time to go get him off of you.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, again, my opening hand, my vampires were Hydra and the 3 cluster that I Sweetums, I think.
Stop Magoo, you're ready to win.
That is.
That's just harassing John because he forgot something simple on the board.
Yeah, like you said, it's nice to have a final table where we all know each other.
I'm pretty sure that thing I forgot was what I literally just said. Like, oh wait, I have 3 total damage. I can just take a card. Like, I think that's what I missed.
Yep. It just takes the like, I don't know, the tension out of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit, which is nice.
And like for me, I just squeaked into the final table, so I'm already riding high.
Yeah, meanwhile, I won my first table and then came runner-up to John a couple times.
The next 2, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I won 100% of my tables where I didn't sit next to...
That's just math. You can't dispute that.
So I think I'm debating here whether I want to draw a vampire before I play one, because like in my ideal situation I would have Cossack in my hand, right, and I would play Cossack.
All right.
Like that's what I really want. And so I'm like going back and forth about do I want to draw or do I want to just play and do other stuff.
Yeah, there's the sad
Yep,
we were talking
there's
about.
the sad. So I mean, obviously,
Right here, AJ shenanigans at another.
yeah. Like obviously, in retrospect, I wish I had drawn. Although I don't remember what my top card of my vampire deck was. It might have been another 3-coster.
Could have been smoke, which would have been pretty devastating.
That would have been real.
It would have been karma for all your bad mouthing about smoke.
He's fine. But like he doesn't really do anything for this deck. I mean, except he gives you 2 social, which is nice.
Yeah.
So they made that official announcement, right, with the what is it, if you bid the leader now, or if you like do a bid off for the leader, he can't be in your opening hand, basically, right?
Yep.
Essentially, yeah.
Yep. Nice.
I was wondering, I was curious how you felt after hearing that after this match, or if
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's really nice because like it's like you're already down your opening leader. It's nice to just not have to worry about drawing into a duplicate, right? Because again, like I only had 1 vampire I could play in my opening hand, and so it was either do I draw a vampire and then hopefully I get one I want to play, or do I just play that one and it would have been nice to have another option. No, I mean, obviously no guarantee, but it would have been nice.
like I said, could have been smoke. you know.
Yeah. I mean, even with the new rules, like he could have shuffled after the fact, and he could have drew Hydra.
Right.
So you just ended up drawing cards then, right? Because you were just trying to get your hand.
Yeah,
in
just
a better
another
place.
card. Because I was like, I don't want to go out in the street because I was at least a little worried about getting punched. So I was like, I don't want to go out in the street, and I don't think I could have killed the sad. So
Me being nervous about being in the streets. Even though I know you don't have any attacks in hand, still Bruja.
I could have drawn 2 more at the end of my turn.
So I'm trying to remember, Colin. Your 2 actions, not counting buying a guy, was draw a card and you played something, right?
yeah, I played
Blood for Blood, I think.
I think it was Blood
That's
for
what it
Blood.
was. Thank you. I was blanking really fast. Like I know Sweetums was exhausted, but I couldn't remember why, and that's what it was.
Yeah, it was Blood for Blood, which again, I mean, in retrospect, was obviously a mistake, but it's like if I don't know, that's tough.
It is one of those like situations where it's the right play. It just except for this one time, it's
Maybe so. Like I think the thing there for me was like I actually don't think getting Blood for Blood out was very important to me because I didn't have a great physical attacker. But what else am I like? Am I really just gonna draw 2 cards?
right.
And like where I have an extra action, I might as well get on my ongoing now, so that it's out while I'm relatively safe. Theoretically. So
yeah, I just played out the Cossack because I was worried about you getting her first. And then I just attacked Darius so that he doesn't get a free card draw.
and this was basically the point where, like, when I saw Cossack come down, I was like, I'm not winning.
I'm in danger.
I have Beretta, and like, unless I knock out Cossack or Hydra and play him, like, at this point, I'm pretty much done. Like, that's not exactly true, but it's basically true.
Yeah.
It's an uphill fight.
That was just a lot of things against you.
Because I don't think we had another 2 physical guy.
Other than those 2, no.
Right, and definitely not one that can play most of the big attacks, right? So it's like I get to go with Beretta. It's just big oof.
That's the thing about the true uniqueness of this game. Like if a deck is the top dog by a long shot, and you're seeing it at every table, like it can changed the game so much. Like you can devolve it into this weird thing where no one's really in a good place, or someone that could be so far ahead just based upon because they drew the card first. It's really different compared to other games.
Right. Most games, the unique rule only applies to yourself, not the whole table. So it's definitely a interesting back and forth.
There's my shakedown.
Yeah.
So on my turn 2, I once again didn't have any conspiracies yet, and I was debating shakedowning again on John because I'd already seen him play 2 on your turn, and your top deck check you pitched another one.
I played one on my turn, and I discarded one for the gallery, and I top checked it. Yeah.
All right, I'm pausing at 5:13:24.
Yeah, so my mentality was like, I don't know what the odds are of me actually connecting any attacks on John, because I know his deck has animals, but because I don't have a lot of experience with Gangrel anyway, I'm not sure what like the proportions of your deck. Now seeing that your list was just almost entirely attacks, it's like, no, let's go ahead and get the guy I'm supposed to hunt at this point, because again, I can't get any engine started this turn with any conspiracy, so I might as well take my second action to slow down another player. So I hit John with a shakedown, and stars align, I hit 3 social attacks out of his hand.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, right? Because he's hunting me, I'm vulnerable because I don't have my leader, like, it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. So we had a biting comment, was that peer pressure?
Peer pressure and Apex Predator.
And then Apex, yeah. So the whole time I'm thinking, hopefully his draw's as good as mine, and he hits 3 Apex Predators off of John. But we only got 33% of that, so. All right. Starting back.
So John,
go ahead.
What were you thinking right now?
So I mean, by the time my turn was coming around, I was kind of doing the math in my head. I'm like, okay, with this hand, I can knock out Collin. Pretty not guaranteed, but like really high percentage. Like you'd have to have more than one reaction to survive.
Yep.
Which none of our reactions have. No, I take that back. The fleetness, but yeah.
Maybe that's only fleetness one.
And it's
2.
I don't think fleetness is
Two,
social,
two for every. Oh wait, yeah, you might be right. So that never mind.
Oh, you're right. So I was like, okay, it's pretty much like I have it in the bag. So and I was thinking like, okay, Luke just played 1 shakedown. I mean, what are the odds that he has a second one? And he plays Velvet. I'm like, cool, only 1 more action to survive. He's gonna put a conspiracy to shake down on John. I'm like, oh no. So
my thought was like, had I drawn a conspiracy, I would have played it. I would not have played the shakedown.
Right. So after losing those cards, I'm now kind of going into damage control. I'm thinking, okay, I can't kill Collin. Was literally what I thought. So I'm like, well, I don't want to knock him down too much either, though, because I'm afraid that Alex will finish him off, and then he's just going to overtake and then win via the agenda points. Somehow. I mean, it's probably too early for that, but I was afraid to put Collin in a low position that would allow somebody to end the game whenever they want, unless that person was me. So at that point, I'm just thinking, and then I kind of just look through my hand and I just start doing math, basically.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know I thought when I saw those 3, I was like, okay, good. Lucas slowed the game down. Maybe there's some way I can crawl back into this. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was also thinking that you were going to get Collin down enough for me to get him, but I think as I did the math, you would still be 1 over me because you would have gone to 5. Beretta would have put me to 3. Sweetums would have put me to 4. So yeah, you still would have gone over me by 1. So I was like, well, I would like to go after Collin, but I need more agenda first.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also thought as soon as Collin gets a 3rd guy, it just makes not even harder.
Right.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of basically what to do next, and then I did some math.
Great. All right, let's watch some math. Starting on my mark.
I have Bruce. I don't need more.
Yes, this is where we need to protect Collin.
Yeah, I think John, you literally said like,
Live by the
I could have killed him.
die by the
Just,
highway.
I'm like, yeah, I think I did. I was like, I'm pretty sure you were dead this turn.
Whip
I'm
the
pretty sure.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah,
The
this
si-
is where we're all settling into thought of this is going to be a longer game than we.
Yeah, I thought the game was like to a crawl at this point.
the celebration that happened.
Look, he just high rolls
I'm not gonna
everything.
do any mending. No end of turn effects. I have one sad.
Sad also be my buddy in that one, getting you down 1 point.
Yep. You needed that. I don't remember. Did you have
On
an
top of
animal
this,
in hand?
At this point, I also top deck a search engine and my first conspiracy.
I was so happy this card flipped.
Oh yeah, of course you were. Yeah, because that's another thing. I think that's when another one of my math kind of came into play too. Another situation where like that could have put you above me if I didn't.
Oh, right.
Went too hard into Collin, like you would just go over.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a card that we like for our deck.
Yes.
Mhm.
Very
It was
much
just like,
so.
I think this is like the situation where like I probably sit here and like think way too long. But look, everyone's having fun, so it's like okay, good.
Let's solve this forever.
Everyone at the table's having fun. They won't notice me doing math.
Because I don't remember. Had you? Yeah, I guess you had played the manga at this point. Because I was just trying to remember.
Play the manga
Like,
on turn 1.
Yeah, turn
She
one.
gets-
You need
it's
it-
what Dre slapped down.
Right. Because you needed an animal to pull this off.
Right, and I already had a swarm in my hand. I was ready.
Right. Okay. That was what I couldn't remember if you. I thought you did. But I couldn't remember if you did that or you drawn it.
I had it.
What
Two.
what I was mathing wrong in the beginning was
Second takedown.
the
Three
intel that I
social
thought that I
attacks.
I originally thought that I needed to hit an animal with the first attack of Damaska to give me the additional card for the intel that I
Fair
needed.
and balanced.
But then you'll see it clicked into my head. Then I'm like, oh wait, I have a third action now, and I can just literally
Man, I really
pick
Draw a card.
So
That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that too.
I really should play Nosferatu. Hey, become sheriff.
yep, there's the Fang. 5.
And at this point, I knew I was never coming after you for agenda.
Everything came down to that moment.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
If you got a reaction,
Yeah. If I have fleetness, then I'm safe. I mean, I say safe. You still probably knock out Beretta,
right?
but
The thought is I can survive, and my thought process is going, okay, I have a chance. Still going to be an uphill battle, but I had hope.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's why I ended up, even if I wasn't gonna get the kill, or I decided to go for it just because at that point it was gonna be so many agenda points that like, it would put me in a good position, which can be dangerous in this game because the man that's on top is the one with the bullseye on their back. So.
Mhm.
oh, certainly. That's why I think if the game had gone longer and Luke had started getting some of his conspiracies out, to could have helped slow you down, discarding your cards, giving you less actions, all that good stuff. But
Yeah, I mean the needing to have a hand in that deck is just so important. Whether you're trying to scrounge that animal or you're just trying to scrounge that one attack that's going to put you over the top to do something. Yep. So I slapped the swarm down. Get rid of, I think, was it the addict? Yeah. Because he was just there for card draw.
Mhm.
Yep. Draw that extra card. Pay it for intel, and go with Sweetums for 3. And then you put a card face down, which terrified me, by the way.
And that's the hope draining out of my soul.
You didn't pitch enough cards.
yeah, that was the game. Right there.
Yeah.
I only got one turn. Yeah, so
2 turns. I took 2 turns, and I'm like, well, this should really stall things. God damn it, John.
yeah, I mean,
Fine, John.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, so like it's definitely
My God, it's
easy to
great.
say I should have drawn and played a second vampire, right? But I didn't have one in my hand.
Yeah.
So
You couldn't have
I had to
known.
basically commit to doing nothing except because like I guess if I draw, I'm playing Sweetums either way. So like maybe that was the best call would have been to draw vampire first. and then play Sweetums.
Yeah, but we say that in hindsight. There's no reason that you would have.
I still don't know how much it would have mattered. Because I still don't know. Honestly, I don't know that I would have played a third vampire. Just losing that turn off of Pit feels so bad.
Right, it does, and you don't know. You don't know what you're going to draw, and even when that was an option, you don't know that John's about like he had the exact numbers he needed either.
Yeah, although I will say, like he did have both the mongrel and the tour guide turn 1. Right.
Yeah.
So like, I probably should have been paying more attention to that and known I was.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to say. You know, it's like I said, it's normally not what you would do with the pit. You know, it's not the kind of tempo that you would put yourself into.
Right.
And most of the time, that's fine. Like it's exactly what you want to do. Except this one time.
Yep. And I'm personally always more okay making a mistake like that. A mistake where I didn't go against the grain, because it's like, yeah, that's harder to recognize that, you know. And I mean, also, like I said, to be frank, once I drew, and I don't remember what vampire I drew, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the 3 costers, maybe Kim. But I know it wasn't Cossack. And like once Alex got out Cossack to go with Hydra, like I said, I was pretty much not winning that game at that point already. So while I was obviously sad to get knocked out before turn 2, I was already sort of like, just the game had been a steady decline of my own estimation of my win probability.
I just put you out of your misery. It was okay. I don't want to see you go through that. So
see, even though John was up on me in agenda, I was starting to feel good about where I was at.
Well, because I mean, yeah, you also, like, if he hadn't knocked me out, you have that Drea sitting over there unprotected.
Yeah.
You know, like you definitely have some options to get some agenda.
Yeah, like I said, when I went for it, I'm like, I committed to just go for it.
Yeah, you know? and it was correct.
Yeah, but also, I mean, because you did kind of pause, right? Like you did the first big attack, and once that went through, like you did sort of commit, but also like if I had a reaction, you could have pivoted. I mean, I don't know what you had in your hand or whatever, right? But like you could have potentially pivoted a little bit.
True.
Not hugely. Like Drea was still been probably vulnerable at home unless you played a third vampire, but yeah, it was like you had, and at that point too, once that first attack went through, there was, I mean, I obviously I don't know that you knew our deck exactly well enough, but I mean, there was nothing I could do to stop you at that point. Like basically the fleetness was the only thing that could have saved me on that first attack. So
yeah, and I didn't know that at the time. Like I said, when you put that one card, when you did put that card face down, I was just like, oh no.
Yep. Was it a sucker punch that didn't do anything?
No, it was actually a reaction.
It just me?
It was what's the one where you do like physical back or something?
Slap in the face.
Slap in the face.
Slap in the face.
Yeah. So yeah, I did. That's why I was like, well, I'm just gonna go down. I'm gonna literally go down swinging. And I don't even remember if it did any damage to you.
I don't think it did.
It would have done 1.
It might have done 1.
Oh wait, no, because she has printed or like 1, right? Yeah, so no, it would have done nothing to me. You're right.
Yeah.
No, it would have done 1.
Yeah, it would have done 1 because it was
right.
1. So yeah, you know, at least I got 1 point of damage in.
Bloodied my nose a little bit.
Small victories.
Yeah. But man, I felt like 2 of the best shakedowns I've seen.
I've ever seen.
Right?
Ever.
And not just like number of cards and the cards that they actually were.
The quality as well.
Yeah.
Quality.
Yes. It was tops all around. Great plays.
John had better play.
Yeah,
I rant about it because John said it, I think, once, and I will never stop giving him shit about it. And I mentioned it here. I tell him to say the line. That's because John likes this mantra, and I always want to have him quote it here so everyone can hear it.
I think you heard me say it one time, and then like that just stuck with you for the rest of our friendship, which was that it was better to be lucky than good, and my card game mentality.
That is such a
because
good card
I,
game
a
mentality.
naturally unlucky person, can never live by that mantra. And while John is indeed a good card player, he got lucky enough to be put in this excellent position and knew how to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and also like to be fair, or yeah, not going on tilt once you thought you had the win stripped is like that's not always easy.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and also
I
like
mean,
that's
there's definite frustration there. More to the
oh
fact
yeah,
where I felt like I was living up to that old Picard quote where you could do everything right and still lose.
So it's still lose, yes.
yep. Yeah, but I mean, like for John, like not going on tilt, right? Like, because I mean, he was like, I just had the win, and now it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to like, all right, let me stop, let me think through, reevaluate. Like that's that's important to be able to do. And also, I mean, to be honest, I think that that's easier to do at a table like this,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
We were
yes.
talking about pressure being off, right? It's easier to do at a table like this than if you're with 4 people you don't know, or I mean 3 people you don't know, or whatever. But I mean, it's a good skill to have.
For sure.
Thanks, buddy.
That's something I've definitely been working on, like, past couple of years. So it is a great skill to have.
Yeah.
Well, you guys got any closing thoughts?
I'm just curious to see what the next princes are going to be like with the expansion.
Yeah.
I want, they talked about in the last Wednesday about the number of Gangrel players that were out in the field. I want to see how much that's going to decrease, or if it won't, or if it'll go up because there's some cards there for them. I'm
Yeah.
very interested.
Yeah.
Because I think we got 2 more this weekend that'll still be under, or actually, I guess it's technically like right on the line, so I don't know.
I think they are still not allowed.
Yeah, the first one is going to be May. I think it was May 7th,
May-
whatever
So
that.
the ones, yeah, because like there are 2 this weekend. That's like the day before the deadline or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see 2 more in this meta, and then everything else will be later. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I'm interested to see that too, because they seem pretty good. Getting 3 actions a turn is
That'll probably always be good. Yeah. That's why I
Alright,
hope.
so
That's why I hope nothing changes with the pit.
One more for you then. Let's, will you guys throw out some wild prediction here. What are the 2 decks that are going to win this weekend?
I mean, seems cheap to say after this, but I think Gangrel will win.
You think it's going to
Yeah.
show up because?
I mean, cause between this one, I know. We heard, because what are the 2? Is not Berkeley? Is one of the SoCals isn't this weekend? Is it?
I'm
I
not
don't remember who it is.
sure.
But I know animals have been floating around down, in SoCal,
Pasadena and Herkimer.
Yeah, Pasadena. So there
Yeah.
you go. So I would not at all be surprised if Gangrel wins that one. I don't know. Yeah. So that's my prediction. Now you have to pick the other deck, Alex.
I'm gonna say we see another knowledge is power. Since we
Solid choice.
Yep. There we go. I'll go left field, and I'm going to throw out another. Throw another Hunt the Hunter out. I feel like that's due for another one.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say the same thing as John. I feel like I'm going to assume that one's still going to have teeth and go kicking people's doors.
I don't know if
Still a good deck.
this was an interesting event overall, because all the decks that were there were not decks I was expecting to see, and all the ones that we were almost entirely missing. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it on the episode, right? Like, I wish I had brought Knowledge is Power. It's more that I wish I had played more Knowledge is Power, so I could have settled on a deck.
Yeah,
because I didn't. I mean, it's funny to me because going into it, I didn't really want to play the same deck as somebody else. Like, I knew John was on Gangrel, so I didn't really spend too much time on that. I knew, well, especially once Luke, I think you were not like super late, not last minute or anything, but you were a little bit later in deciding to go. And obviously I know you're playing Conspirator. I had a pretty good suspicion. And then AJ, I mean, who knows what AJ is going to play? It's not even worth
Yes.
decides the morning of.
He brought his collection to the store to pull out of the box and make decks.
And then so I just think it's funny because like I was like, oh, I don't want to overlap too much, and then I literally played the same deck, and then of course in the end
It worked out.
I mean, not that was what cost me, but like like I said, after Alex's turn 2, I was like, well, I'm not winning this game. And that's sort of the peril of a smaller event, right?
Right.
Like
So
I would like.
We have Collin saying, I'm not winning this game. Me saying, I have a chance of winning this game. And John saying, hold my beer.
Yep. Pretty much.
But I still had a blast. It was definitely probably one of my favorite games I've played so far. So thank you all.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun tournament. It was nice to travel, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in like a month.
We'll be in Milwaukee. Yep.
So
I'm looking forward to the changes I've made to my deck with the cards that will be legal.
Yeah. The next one we'll be a Shadows and Shrouds. So this time we probably will not overlap decks.
yes, I will be playing a completely. I
Yes.
guarantee I'm not playing Hydro Turf War.
Oh yeah. Probably neither am I at this point, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin, I'm gonna need a new deck for.
Okay, I've got a deck for you, John. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus?
Jesus Dragon Ruse.
Here, let me pitch an idea to you. The goal is to never flip your agenda.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah. You want to play Horde the Herd? Go ahead. All right. Well, thank you to John and Luke for joining us tonight. This was, I think, a fun thing to do. So hopefully we'll get some more live streams going as the communities grow, and we can do more of them.
Yeah,
Colin, I know you like talking about how much you enjoyed it, but if you want to play to the end of the video when I, as you described, spiked the camera.
Oh yeah. Yes. Well, we'll let that be our outro as we. If you want to just roll the bean footage.
Who was it that streamed this thing again during the day?
Oh,
it was
it Robert?
I think it was Bobby, but I don't remember. We'll definitely like link to their stream in all the.
Oh, I can just actually look because I'm looking at a YouTube video.
Hey,
it's No Agendas Gaming.
There you go. Yeah, it was a cool setup, really cool store. Enjoyed meeting the guys down there that we played with and everything. So good experience for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that'll do it for tonight. See everybody out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you later.